introduce to you our acting director, who has transitioned into the beautiful climate of Illinois. He could no longer take the climate down south, so he said, I gotta buy my winter boots, I gotta buy my 3-layer coat, and head up to the state of Illinois. He comes with a vast experience, but I believe that the greatest thing that you bring to us is the great wisdom that God Himself has bestowed upon you, and we anticipate deepening our relationship with you as you are deepening your relationship with every other advisory council. Would you please put your hands together and welcome our acting director, George Sheldon.
Thank you. It's good to be with you. And first of all, I recognize I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch. So I will keep it brief. He's right. I left Miami in February. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and it was 82 when I left Miami. When I got here, that was the day you had 18 inches of snow, and I walked 3 blocks to meet your governor, and I thought, it's only 3 blocks, I'm not going to take a cab. In these loafers, with virtually no overcoat, and my reaction was, what the hell am I doing in Chicago? But it is good to be with you. It's good to be here at Northeastern, and Lourdes has told me so much about what this university means to the Hispanic community. And just a little background, I was Associate Dean of St. Thomas Law School in Miami for a while, which had the largest level of diversity of any law school in the country, the largest not only percentage of Hispanics of any law school in the country, but the largest actual number of Hispanic law students in the country. And I think education is the gateway to knowledge. So I want to thank President Hans for her generosity, and I know that you thank them as well. I also want to thank the Latino Advisory Council for its 27 years of service to this department. In reality, I was the Secretary of the Department of Children's Services in Florida, and then was asked by President Obama to be Assistant Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And during that period of time, we had a surge of young children coming across the southern border because of an increasing level of violence in Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Guatemala. And while those children has historically been 16, 17 years old, all of a sudden we saw children coming across the southern border who were 8, 9, 10 years old, whose parents were trying to get them out of the violence that occurred in that area. We went from 7,000 to 14,000 to 21,000 to 50,000 over the successive years since then. And I went to the southern border and really saw young children who saw the whole American dream in front of them and felt for the first time in many years that they were safe. And that's an important gateway to America that we need to preserve. Regardless what some in the political spectrum today are saying about building a fence or a wall, and they are now arguing, I'm going to make my wall taller than your wall. This country has always been the land of opportunity and the gateway to freedom, and it needs to remain that way. I remember meeting with about 100 Head Start parents, migrant Head Start parents in Washington, and they told me about laboring long hours in the fields, some cases 12, 14 hours a day. They told me about living in poverty. They told me about being fearful to drive because they might be stopped solely because of the They're of the tint of their skin. But they also told me about their dreams. And there was one Mexican migrant worker woman who stood up and said, I used to have Mexican dreams. Now I have American dreams. That's what this country is about. And I think the diversity that we all bring, and I'm a gringo, but the diversity that we all bring gives something to America. And we're in the process of celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. And I think that that is an important time to represent your culture, but it is an important time to recognize the diversity of this country. This nation is great because of our diversity, not in spite of it. And I think we all have to recognize that. Recognize our culture, our experiences, and what we bring to the table. At the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, as they had the parade of athletes coming through the stadium, there was something different about the American athletes. Because while virtually every nation in the world was devoid of diversity, the American athletes were as diverse as you can get. And the flag bearer for the United States team was a young man who only 4 years ago had been one of the lost boys of the Sudan. That's the level of diversity. And the strength of this country, like the strength of our athletic team, was strongly because of the diversity that they bring to the table. That's what this event's about. That's what we're trying to do in the department in terms of expanding the diversity of our staff, expanding the diversity of our foster home options. We've got to up our game. And I look forward to working with you, look forward to working with the Latino Advisory Council moving forward, because I think it is important. I think it is who we are as Americans. So now I'll give you an opportunity for lunch. Thank you very much.